Beat your booties because it's cold outside.
It's cold outside. It's always cold, but is winter gonna last longer or is spring gonna come first?
Well, according to Phil, all right, we only have, what did he say? It's it's going to be an early spring, according to Phil.
Yeah. Yep, that's what he said.
But if you recall, all right, we're here to make fun of the movie today, right? In the movie, he actually said, I think it's going to come about March 21st.
Okay.
Which I think is the first day of spring.
Right. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. So in case you all didn't know who we were talking or what we're talking about is we're talking about Groundhog Day.
Chuckers, it's Groundhog Day. To us, that movie seemed so interesting. And believe it or not, when we Googled drinks in a movie, it is the number one brought up drink in a movie. I mean, you would think, the martinis or something from the Humphrey Bogart stuff. I mean, you think about how long drinks have been mentioned in movies. Why is it that Groundhog Day is? Right. Could it be that it's in there because it was mentioned 3 times? Could it be? I don't know. Could it be because he had to drink it a lot? I don't know. But there was a couple references to food in the movie. There's a couple references to drinks in the movie.
Yes. And before we even get into that, this is what is exciting for me. When we were talking about what we were going to do and drinks in a movie, and then it's like Groundhog Day for whatever reason came up. And then it's like, oh, that's a great idea. And of course, that's the first thing that pops up. So we knew what we were going to do. And then we realized this cult classic came out in 1993. Today is our 93rd episode. We could not have done this any better. If we had tried to organize it, it probably wouldn't have worked out. But we thought that was pretty awesome.
93rd episode. And how many years have we been going at this now?
Over 2, because we started in November of 2001. So November, December.
It's almost like, we can have a reference to doing the show over and over again for 31 years, like it's how old. Anyway, no. I can't even make the reference. I can't find a way to do it.
And the other thing is, this is about the time, because when you look at all the details of the movie Groundhog Day, Phil went through February 2nd. Yeah. For about 34 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a quick thing. It wasn't that it happened, right away. I mean, they skip over, but there was so much in that movie that we can reference back to us. And as I was doing the research, a lot of people used it during COVID. They said, this is our Groundhog Day. It's like the same thing. You're reliving the same day over and over again. But even in our everyday life, we can learn so much from this darn movie. Sometimes you look at some of these movies that are just a little goofy. They're a little off. You're like going, what the heck? I mean, it's really, this is what you're bringing up, Gladys, Groundhog Day, Tim, really. But if we can learn from the various movies that we watch, and then we can not feel like, okay, we're not just wasting our time. There's a lot of great references, but one of the things that is at the beginning of the movie is that he realized that's why he was doing such craziness. And that's why food is that there were no consequences.
Yep.
He was just eating whatever he wanted. It's like, I actually almost got this white sheet cake. It was a slice that was like really big, because I was going to try to just shove it all in my mouth. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe he didn't have consequences. And,
well, we
do. And I probably would have been choking on it. I have nobody here to do the Heimlich maneuver on me. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But it was about him just going out after he was flustered and trying to figure out what the heck, which for us, there are days that's what it feels like. What is going on? Why is nothing going right? Why are we running into somebody that we do not want to talk to? The insurance guy, he kept running into the insurance guy and running away from him. And diverting and
You didn't think I wanted to have the show in reference to an insurance guy?
I found that so hilarious that I was like going, oh my goodness, this is just, I'm like, how many people are trying to run away from me? And I do tell those prospective clients, it's okay to tell me no. If you say no, I'll leave you alone. Don't give me a maybe, because the maybe I'm going to keep following up with. But right after that, he kept falling into this pothole.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do we not step in the same pothole over and over again? And we don't learn from it. We just keep doing it and we keep being mad at it. It's like, why am I mad at this pothole for being here? It was already there. I'm the one who keeps stepping in it and then stepping in it. And then again and again. It was quite interesting to see that in our lives. Sometimes we do that. And sometimes we'll take risks. Unfortunately, we don't have a do-over where he goes over a cliff, the car explodes, and the next morning, 6 a.m., he's waking up again, February 2nd. So we do have consequences, and just because I had heard this many years ago, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences.
That's right.
There are consequences to our voice and what we say, good or bad. Sometimes what we're saying, we're going to make some good out of it, but just because we have our thoughts doesn't mean there's not consequences, or that we're not going to evoke some anger in somebody else that's going to retaliate. So we do have consequences, unlike Phil in the movie that did not. And so Ned, that's who I was trying to remember.
Ned Ryerson.
It was just hilarious how much, and we do that. Sometimes we try to avoid. You know what? That's going to cause me pain. Therefore, I'm going to avoid. I'm not going to go down that street. I'm going to evade and avoid and not take the call, or not do the things we know we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So that was that was something that was like, wow. The attitude we come across, and how are we learning from the things we're coming across? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, know that it's okay to feel the way we feel. Because sometimes there's frustration, sometimes there's anger, sometimes there's no matter what I do, everything goes wrong. I've had those days where it seems that even if I'm trying to get ahead, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We sometimes feel that way, and it's okay to feel the things. But sometimes we just have to express ourselves and talk through it. Why are we feeling this way, and what can we do differently? I mean, that was one thing that Rita said, when he was complaining about something, and she's not quite believing him, but it's like, well, if this is what you're going through, what can you do differently, is what she essentially said to him. He had to think about that one. Yeah. So what are we doing differently? And how can we be accountable? I mean, one of the things I got to meet, Robin Sharma this last week. This is so cool. I got his new book with the signature inside. So this is kind of cool. Got to meet him, got my picture taken with him. So this was pretty cool. But he said, we need to get past the blame. We're blaming others and we're making excuses, and we got to get past that for us to really grow. So that's another thing. It's like, what opportunities and our attitude can we make better? What new skills can we learn? Shifting our mindset. And the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If we do the same thing over and over, we're going to get the same thing. We're going to get what we put in, which is not much, not anything. So we got to do things differently. But we also got to have a little bit of compassion with ourselves and forgive ourselves. I forget to do that a lot. I truly do. I absolutely forget to give myself grace sometimes, and I beat myself up. So that's something that it was like, as it was coming up, and I'm like, oh man, yeah. But also not giving up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is sometimes we give up because it's like, throw our hands up in the air, and it's like, it's frustrating. Why am I doing this? But with giving ourselves compassion and giving and not giving up, that's going to help us get to the next level, to adopt a a mindset of growth. And I've been listening to the book Mindset, Kathy Dweck, Carol Dweck. That's what it is, Carol Dweck. And she's a PhD, and it's that growth mindset. What can we do without that? The fixed mindset is that there's nothing we can do. The growth mindset says, okay, how can I overcome? So that was what kind of stood out to me. And the other thing that stood out is that there's a routine that he was going through every day, which habits are good, but do we have the good habits that are going to help us move forward, or do we have those habits that are just going to keep us from moving forward, like stepping in that pothole, evading? That's our habit, that's our routine. Evade the salesperson, the insurance guy, and step in the pothole and go eat donuts. And which brings us to food. Yes, I have.
Well, we're going to get the food here. We're going to go through the stages of the movie with food and drink.
I love it.
And I think we've got just about every food and some references to food in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's funny. It's a comedy movie, but it's a comedy movie that makes you go, yeah, how about that? But anyway, it was, and of course I watched it on, was it Friday night or Saturday? I watched it actually, because I know Friday night was actually the Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
it was almost Saturday before I watched it. So, and my nieces were here, so I was watching it with my nieces, going, "Oh yeah, we heard about that movie."
And I'm even wearing, or at least I tried to come close to what Rita was wearing, the blue shirt and the pink over it. So that was what I was.
If you watch the movie, basically the idea is they had the same clothes on because they were repeating the same day
over and over
and over. And if you recall, the greatest thing of a repeat of it was the 2020 commercial about it. Do you remember that commercial?
I do not.
That was for the Jeep Gladiator when Jeep came out with its pickup truck launching. And Bill Murray reenacted scenes from the movie where basically he had the guy who played Ned Ryerson. He walks into town and he's Ned Ryerson. Phil Connors, all right. And he goes, Ned Ryerson, right? Because he's like, I don't have to repeat this anymore, right? But then he went through the scene because he stole the pickup truck in the movie with the groundhog in it. Well, in the Jeep commercial, he's got the groundhog in the Jeep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now I do remember. I do remember that.
That was the funny repeat commercial of it. So anyway, so let's go through some of the rounds of what food was in the movie, right? Very first thing of food mentioned in the movie or seen in the movie is the first scene is he's at breakfast and he really doesn't have anything because they just go there for coffee, right? But is the first time of them repeating on a day when he realized I can do whatever I want. And the next day they show him in the breakfast cafe with everything. There's bacon on the plate. There's waffles. All right. There's eggs. There's donuts. There's cake. And if you recall, she comes up and goes, "More coffee, dear?" And what does he do? He takes the whole pot and goes right in, right?
Again, no consequences.
No consequences. And the biggest thing, which we were going to try to do, but Gladys said she didn't want to do it, was take the whole cake and try to stuff it in your mouth.
I looked at it and I said, no.
Yeah. I think it's too much because it was a big piece of cake that he did.
It was, and this was a big size piece. I would have had cake all over everything. It would have been a mess. And I would have choked on it. It would have been bad. So yeah. So I normally I do eat sometimes. I don't hardly ever. It was on sale at Kroger's.
The little donuts, yeah, Hostess donuts, yep.
But I also got a regular just donut because got to have a donut. And then of course I didn't have. Okay, so there was another round where I don't have what Tim has. I ended up putting the waffles in here with the bacon, and then I have what I was gonna try to make, but I didn't just because of time. But that was another another scene.
Well, let's move on. The next scene that we actually get experience with food. Do you remember what it is?
Is that when they have the? Man, I'm trying to run the movie through my head.
They're in the bar, all right, and he says, "All right, what would you do if?"
Oh yes.
There, you know what I mean? If you had to live the same day over and over and over again, and the two guys in the bar are doing shots, going, "Yep, that pretty much sums it up for me." Which is that's where we get life lessons from. All right, that was their life every day, right?
Was just doing the shots and
shots, right? So shots, but we didn't really know. They didn't really say what shots it was.
Yeah, so I mean, we could do something like some brown liquor.
We have some Jim Beam. Well, I know I have Jim Beam here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got a little thing of Jim Beam to be able to do this with. But then they get in the car and they're driving, and he goes, "I'm not going to play by their rules anymore." And he hits a mailbox, and he keeps driving, and eventually gets pulled. He eventually hits a big statue of a groundhog and knocks it over.
Oops.
And the police come up to the car, and he goes to the guy's car. "I got this. So 2 cheeseburger, French fries, a milkshake. All right. You guys want anything?" And what did they say?
Flapjacks.
So I got pancakes, the closest thing to flapjacks I could do, right? And he goes, "Too early for flapjacks?"
Oh, but I did get good maple syrup. I don't know if they had.
I'll bet they did, because Pennsylvania has got some really good maple syrup. So I'm going to start nibbling while we talk now.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing too. I put my maple syrup all over, and hopefully I don't make too much of a mess.
Yeah.
But the other thing was just the donuts was the other thing that really got me. How he would just, he's just eating donuts. And how many of us? I mean, I'll eat a donut. I will taste it all day long. So I don't usually eat donuts. And I was going to go to Mr. Maple to get a donut, and I said, "Now, why am I going to spend $4 on a donut of which I'll probably only have one bite?" So
one bite, yeah.
So I did not do that. So I got this one at Kroger again, and then the little donuts, I got that because they were on sale. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah.
But I also thought, as I was looking for foods that went with Groundhog Day, there was groundhog made out of groundhog, and it was a beef Wellington. So I thought, well, tastes like chicken was my thought, and so this to go a little bit with breakfast was Go.
I know. I just did the regular meat. What she did was more creative.
Chicken chorizo, because I figure groundhog tastes like chicken.
Chicken. Yep. And that was mentioned. Then would be our next food scene, where they're in the bar, and she comes in and says to him, "You got to go to the Groundhog Dinner," and he said, "Nah, I had groundhog for lunch. Tastes like chicken." That's the reference that we said that really. It wasn't any chicken in the meal in there, but it was the only reference to chicken was "tastes like chicken." Yeah.
So this is my groundhog leg over here.
To which then is where our first drink is mentioned. What is the first drink that is mentioned?
What he ordered.
What did he order? All right, I'm going to try to do this as we go through it. All right, because I have everything here.
So he says, "What would you like?" And he says, "Jim Beam."
That was right about there. We'll just stop it there because that's all I have.
Ice. Water.
I am not adding water to my Jim Beam. I'm sorry. Not doing it.
But that's what he got was Jim Beam, ice, water. So and actually
we do our first toast. All right, and then we will try. I'm going to label these tonight because we have male, female on the show as male drink, female drink, and we're going to see which one is better.
So, as I was reading, and so this is an 80 proof alcohol. Mm-hmm. So when you have 80 proof, you can have it neat. It's fine. If you're at 90 to 100, a little bit of water, and then that over 100 proof, that's when. But if you are doing water, there's multiple things you can do. You can go with distilled water, spring water, club soda, anything water, but it has to be quality. So I went with the Bochico, just a splash. But the whole purpose is to tone it down a little bit. With an 80 proof, you don't need to, but then again, it is Jim Beam. So cheers.
It's just Jim. We're not talking the bourbons you and I would drink.
Yeah, let me. And actually, I'm going to move this over here. So do this again. So
I grabbed the Jim Beam Devil's Cut, which is if I'm going to get Jim Beam, I love the Devil's Cut. It's always the one I like the best.
Okay.
So, and literally, as the ice melts that down, it'll be a good drink for me. I always like it that way.
So,
but from there, he asks, for you, what would you like to have to drink? Now, did you read the drink card to make this drink?
Mm-hmm.
I did too. I read the drink card. So, what was it? Sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist.
And technically, it should be a squeeze of lemon. Now, it's a twist of lime, a squeeze of lemon, but essentially it's 2 ounces of sweet vermouth and a lemon twist. So you fill the rocks glass with ice, you fill it with vermouth, you stir, and then you twist the lemon peel over the glass, and then you garnish it.
But yeah, there's the toss up between. It does say with a twist, but most people say it's lemon. I got one other thing that I thought might go better with it.
Oh,
I got oranges, but I think I'm going to try with the lemon first because I do have lemon. All right.
I don't have orange here. I have orange at the house. So I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to pour because it is just, it is just.
We're not going to get accurate on this. All right. Because let's face it, I don't know if we're going to be drinking this drink again. But anyway, maybe next year. But it does say with the twist, all right, there is one thing that the drink says that it does is to rim the glass with the lemon.
Yep. And you want to do that anyway. Make sure you squeeze it to get the oils out. And we've had that discussion. We've brought this up before. The other thing I'm going to do that was not in the movie, but I am going to do it anyway, is that I am not only going to do that, I'm going to put a little bit of the juice.
Yeah, I'm twisting the lemon to twist the juice out of it, so it's really a twist. And then I'm sticking it in the drink.
Yes.
All right, and there it is. It almost looks like a Diet Coke. What should we drink to? To the Groundhog.
I was going to say, well, either to the Groundhog or to Jim Beam.
No.
Is a better drink right now.
The first time he does it, he says, "What should we drink to?" The Groundhog. The second time, she goes, "I always like to say, like, I like to drink to world peace."
Yeah. So
the second day, he goes, "Well, I like to say a prayer and drink to world peace." So he goes, "Amen."
Oh, wow. Sweet vermouth, huh? Yeah, I like the Jim Beam a little bit better.
The Jim Beam's a little bit better. I'm going to say I would stick with the Jim Beam better. But let me try with some of the foods we got here and see what we got going on. So first of all, we have a beef short rib that Gwen had put that's been sitting cooking in my slow cooker all day.
Num num.
So I wanted to use that as part of our meal tonight. Because I'm a beef guy. What can I say?
So when I had the waffle with the maple syrup and the sweet vermouth, that was actually not bad. And then this is the chicken chorizo. And this also, I think it's complimentary. I think because it has a little bit of a spice, it's actually not too bad. If I were to just drink the sweet vermouth, I would not like it. But I think drinking it with something else kind of helps wash down the food. And
I don't know. I don't think that would be my favorite drink. I know she said in the movie it was her favorite drink.
Yeah. And at the end, that's what he was also eating or drinking. That's what he ordered.
Yeah.
Sweet vermouth and ice with the twist.
So after that, there was not really many mentions of food or drink. There was several times that food was brought up, but very few times where the food was in there. And the sweet vermouth on the rocks with the twist is one of the most mentioned things because of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for the movie, I wouldn't know it was a drink. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was a movie, we wouldn't be tasting it tonight.
Just going on that. Oh.
But all right. So did you watch the movie though this weekend or no?
No, I wanted to. I told Sean I wanted to watch it, and then I forgot until this morning.
It's almost like watching a Christmas Story on Christmas Day. I have to.
Okay, Jim Beam with waffles, not so much.
No, I think it's because of the lemon twist in the sweet vermouth drink is going to complement your waffles. The chicken and the beef goes better with it. Goes good with either one.
Chicken chorizo, the spiciness, the chicken, that goes well with the Jim Beam.
So the chicken I have is we cooked the whole chicken the other night, and I just had a couple pieces of it left. And rather than go get another piece of chicken out and cook it, I'm like, that chicken was so good, I saved a piece for tonight. No.
Well, what I would have loved to have had, Sean took me to Fogo do Chao, Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, a Brazilian one. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had gone there. I had taken him there for Capirina Day, and we had capirinas. We had, oh my goodness, they gave us extra bacon. We were like, oh my goodness, the bacon is so good, and our guy brought us more bacon. Well, they had this one section where they had the bacon, and then they had the black beans, with a little bowl. So I got a little bowl, got a little bit of beans, and then put a few pieces of bacon, which were smaller. They were all about this big, if not smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up going back to get more candied bacon with pepper on it. We were munching on that. Oh my goodness, absolutely the best bacon. So I think there's brown sugar, there's pepper on there. I'm not sure if they added honey or not, but it is this thick bacon that just breaks off just beautifully, just delicious. It goes well by itself. You can put it on ice cream, which you did, or you can put it on.
It goes very well in a Bloody Mary. I'm just saying.
So it was super yummy, and I wish I would have had some for today.
Anyway, so this has been an interesting thing and a great thing to think about. What things have you seen in movies that you've ever tried? They mentioned it in the movie, whether it be the drink, the food. Do you ever go home and go, man, I want to try that?
Yeah, the Vesper in 007.
Yep.
And then, of course, a martini, shaken, not stirred.
Yep.
Well, technically, a martini should be shaken, not stirred because of what's in it. But those were two that I know off the top of my head. I can go, yep. And then, but sometimes it's like you see food on the screen and you're like, that's pretty yummy,
and there's so often it's a drink that is barely mentioned, and you think back to it and go, if you think through all the movies, why you don't remember it, because it's not repeated, which goes to the theme of this movie. It was repeated, and that's why the name was repeated. They said it in a line more than once. It was said 3 times. Repeat something more than once, it's going to have memory to it.
Like a habit.
Mm-hmm.
We need to hear it multiple times. In sales, we got to be in front of that prospective client multiple times for them to remember us.
So, while we have been experimenting for 93 episodes, we have actually had one drink that we have gone back to more times than anything. Do you know what it is, ladies and gentlemen? Go ahead, put it in the comments. Anybody, put it in the comments.
Well, I know we've done
don't give it away. You and I know it. You and I can communicate it with our eyes because we know it. But we're not even going to answer it on the episode. If you're watching the episode live or you watch the replay, put it in the comments if you know the drink we've done repeatedly. And why? Because we love it. No, it's something we love, and it's something we've done. And we talked about doing it already this year again. So anyway, it's a go-to.
There are certain things we like.
Yeah.
Just like anybody, your go-to food. I mean, I was just in a photo shoot with some ladies of business here in Wilsonville. And one of the questions on the questionnaire, because we're going to go through an interview, was, what's your go-to food? That there's no leftovers. And my first thought was, well, tacos, but usually I'm making tacos from leftover food, and then once you have the tacos, it's like there is no leftovers. So that's my go-to. Easy to make. You do the toppings, you have the tortillas, you add the stuffing, you got a taco. It's basic for me. It's easy. That's my go-to. With drinks, sometimes it's the same thing. What's the go-to?
Well,
we have our favorites.
The one that's not been a favorite of yours and I that I have on a regular basis is the old fashioned. Right, that's one of my favorites. My wife comes home, the first thing she has is a martini. She loves to have a martini. Well, yes, I share that with my wife because my wife will come home and we want some. I'm like, yeah, we have these small little. They were champagne glasses in the late 1800s.
Okay.
That belonged to her, great aunt.
All right.
And I'll say, pour a little bit in. They almost like martini shape. So she'll pour a little bit in there, put me an olive in, I'll eat it, I'll drink it, But it's not my favorite drink. It's hers. It's what she wants to have, right? Me, I go out, I want an old fashioned. I mean, but even though that's my favorite, and we have had old fashions on this drink, it is not the drink that has been on our podcast the most. No, so chicken.
That chicken with bacon, or the groundhog with bacon, was pretty darn good.
Yep.
Tastes like chicken.
So what you're saying is everything goes with bacon, even groundhog.
Duh, it's bacon. Bacon wrapped pork loin, bacon on bacon.
I've not done, I've not been into that bacon wrapped filet mignon. I want the beef by itself. That's one I want by itself. And I know that's a very popular piece of meat to do. I don't like it that way.
The reason I don't like it is that either the bacon is undercooked or the steak is overcooked. Nope.
It never matches.
Uh-uh.
And I think that's the reason why I don't like it. Not saying it's a great combination if you think about it, right? Two great pieces of meat. It just doesn't match for me.
You put sprinkles of bacon on or around, the bacon sprinkles on your baked potato
Yes.
next to.
Now we're talking. Take that piece of bacon off after you've done that. Fry it up a little bit longer. Chop it into pieces. Put it in with your baked potato or even your mashed taters if you're into mash that night.
Yep.
Mm.
I will say I didn't get his name, but he did help me pick a really good piece of chicken.
Yep.
I told him, I said, I want a good piece of chicken because it's going to go on camera. And he asked, are you a photographer? I said, no, I'm an insurance broker, but it's going to be on my podcast, And so I gave him the name of the podcast. He's all, I'm going to be listening in. I said, cool. I should have gone his name. I should have said, hey, I'm going to give you a shout out. So Safeway guy, thank you so much. Appreciate you for taking care of me.
Well, I mean, yeah, what was I going to say? So let me go into a couple more things of the movie as we finish up some of our food tonight. Is what was the town the movie was supposed to be based in?
Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
That's right. Where was the movie actually filmed?
That I don't know. I knew you were going to ask. I knew it.
I know.
Somewhere in California?
Huh?
Was it in California somewhere?
Nope. And actually, there is a shop that actually has a label on it in the movie that they left there.
Oh, really? I was going to go. Maybe is it on the East Coast or?
Nope. Center of the country.
Kansas City.
Nope. Even more north. Center north, because they got snow. And actually, that town is the second biggest Groundhog Day festival in America.
Oh, that's funny. All because of the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It's the name of a very famous music event.
Woodstock or Lollapalooza?
Woodstock, Illinois. Yeah.
Oh.
And actually, in the movie, there was like you can see it. It goes by it, and then Ned Ryerson singing. It's like the like Woodstock, like what do they call it? Taylor or something like that. They didn't change the name on it, and I think the name of the TikTok Diner is actually called the TikTok Diner in that town.
Oh, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to do something that I'm probably going to regret, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay. Shove that whole donut in your mouth?
Yeah, right. I'm going to actually take a piece of donut. I was trying to cut it and didn't do a very good job of cutting it. But how to go with sweet vermouth? If this was a lemon donut, that would have gone very well.
Mm-hmm. I'll bet you a lemon iced or a lemon pound cake would have went with it well too.
What I almost got, which I go, nope, put it back, think about it. And as I was going to go check out, I was thinking about it. It was a little parfait that had the pieces of it wasn't angel hair, but it was like a white sheet cake, but is into little cubes. Then it had a lemon, like a meringue, and it was topped off with, it actually said real whipped cream. I almost got that because it was a little parfait, and I was like, and it was so cute, and I love lemon, and I thought that would be good, but I said no, and I didn't do it. But I did think about that, and I think that would have gone very well if I had splurged and done that. Now I got to get the sweet out of my mouth, so I got to have more of the groundhog.
Have some more flapjacks.
Oh,
I'm finishing off my flapjacks.
Good job. No, I got to end on savory because that was too sweet. I'm telling you, when I eat a donut, I will taste it all day long. By the afternoon, I'm like, I'm still tasting the donut.
Yeah.
And I love donuts. I just don't want to deal with the flavor of it at the end of the day. You know, at 3:00 in the afternoon, I had it at 7 in the morning. So.
It's like that heartburn commercial. Is your food still fighting with you later in the day? I'm not sure the sub.
That's hilarious. The commercials we remember. Oh my goodness.
I know.
But
There was another spot in the movie. Now that I think about it, that the food was mentioned towards the end of the movie. He walks into the restaurant and he does the Heimlich maneuver on the town mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the dance scene, he comes up and says, thank you for saving Buster. And he says, well, he was trying to eat the whole steak or the whole
Right,
cow.
the whole cow.
Yeah, the whole cow. You know what I mean? Either take smaller bites or get sharper teeth. But anyway.
So back to that act 3, essentially.
Yep.
That's what it boiled down to, was that act 3. And he realized at some point, after doing all the craziness and having no consequences so he was going through all the phases, like being angry, confused, angry, into acceptance, and then moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And in his moving forward, he realized, you know what? If I have to do this day over and over again, I remember everything that's happened. Nobody else does. I do. What can I do to do better? What can I do to grow, have that growth mindset? So I love that. It was just hilarious where he had that little coupon thing for a free piano lesson.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, he's playing this concerto. And then the little teacher says, are you sure you've never taken a lesson before?
Yeah, chewing gum and goes, yeah, well, my dad was a piano mover, but yeah.
Yeah. So he learned to play the piano. He learned French. Mm-hmm. He learned to ice sculpt. He was doing ice sculpting. And then he started giving back.
Yeah.
He knew that one kid was going to fall off the tree. So there he was. It's like, I know the kid's going to fall off the tree. So he was waiting for the kid. He knew that, the other guy was going to, start choking on his steak. So he started, and then back to Ned, he gave Ned the business.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, you see the salesperson coming multiple times.
In other words, give Gladys the business.
I'm going to get the business. That's always my thought. I'm going to get it. It might not be right now, but I will get it. So he grew. That was the thing. He was stuck in the same place, but he retained the memories, and then he built the skills along the way. And it wasn't until he did that he had grown and realized that it's all about growth. There's a lesson in there. Yeah. And it wasn't until that happened that he moved on to February 3rd. And then he wanted to actually move to this little town that he absolutely hated, didn't want to be there, kicking and screaming the whole time. He realized that there was a lot of growth.
Wait a minute. The turning point, just before the turning point, she said something to him. Well, gosh, have you looked at it? But there was 2 other foods mentioned in that sequence of trying to date her and spend the day with her. Fudge. Fudge. And she goes, you want white chocolate? No white chocolate, no fudge. He said things that she didn't like, but in his room, he had on the ledge Rocky Road ice cream. Forgot about Rocky. If I remembered that, I'd have had Rocky Road ice cream here tonight.
Right. So there is a lot to learn from the movie. And I will tell you, I subscribe to the one thing where if you are focused on the one thing, that if you do nothing else, but you do that one thing, and that's what he did. He focused on learning to play the piano. He focused on learning French. It was 3 different things, but he didn't learn them all at once. He was doing the things to improve. Then we're gonna be able to exponentially do that much better. So we want to make sure that our last year's behavior is not the same as this year's. What can we do this year for 2024? What can we do differently from 2023? If 2023, what did we learn from it? What can we do? What are the things we should continue to do? The things we should stop doing, and the things we should start doing. So it's your green, yellow, and red. Green, continue to do. Yellow, start to do it, and then the red, stop doing it. Yeah. And that's what's going to help us grow. And there is a free webinar. I do have to give out the shout out to the one thing. They're doing this Wednesday or next Wednesday, the 14th at 10 Pacific, 12 Central, 1 Eastern. They are doing a free webinar on forming your relationship with your goals for 2024. We'll post a link on the social.
We'll put it in the chat. We'll put it on the and we'll put it on the page. So
yeah, but truly, one of the reasons beside it being a cult classic, beside it being 1993, beside it being kind of goofy and funny, the growth, but also it's that was the biggest thing, is the lessons learned from this freaking stupid movie.
And when it came out, I remember when it came out on VHS recording, I remember renting it from, it wasn't even a Blockbuster. It was like a game type.
It was just a regular video. Yeah. I had one of those.
And over and over, and watched that thing so many times. That movie so inspired me to, and I think that's where in life I learned to get habits that'll get me success. So, and I was a young entrepreneur trying to figure out my way in the world at the time and struggling really bad. And I learned from this movie while watching it, going, hey, if I repeat good success habits, I can become successful.
Right. I was 33. No, 30. Shoot. No, I was 20 at the time. I was 20 at the time because
I was going to say, I didn't think you were 33 because I know you're younger than me.
Yeah, I'd be way older than you. No, I was 20 at the time. I remember watching it way back when, but I never really paid that attention to it. But as I was really looking at all the lessons learned in this movie, I was like, you know what? It's so true. We have to look at, as frustrated as we are, we have to give ourselves grace, which I never do. That's something that Sean's constantly on me about, that I need to appreciate the things that I've done, give myself grace and be okay. And sometimes he's told me, it's like, it's okay. Just take a breath. Mm-hmm. You're going to get it done tomorrow. Leave it alone right now. It's fine.
Yep.
And I have to do more of that. I really don't, because I got to get the things done. You know, how can I improve my process? How can I improve what I do? How can I do better as an individual and as a business owner? As I'm growing my business, I got to do things differently. What got me to where I am now is not going to get me to the next level. Yeah. It really is not. So because of that, I joined a mastermind group with these 8, 9, 10 amazing ladies that are actually, I guess it is 8, that we're looking at how do we all help each other grow our business and get to that next level, because what got us to where we're at is not going to help us get to the next level. And so that's where I'm at for 2024. It's like 2023, thank you very much. You were good to me. 2024, you're going to be better to me, because it's changing that mindset and changing how we focus on our business. And I know you, Tim, you're growing, you're doing more. So you're around mentors and coaches and people that are also, you're all putting into each other in order to grow as people, as individuals, as business owners.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I know. And now that the pandemic is over, everybody's inviting me to their events, and now Tim doesn't want to go to it. Now Tim loves being at home, and I've got to get up and go to events to grow again. So our mentor, scheduling events and then rescheduling them on weekends after I've already made plans. That pisses me off. Anyway, no, not mad at him. Not mad at him. No, he didn't. He doesn't know. He didn't know that I went off and made plans, not thinking he had his days.
I know, and that was one of my things with my ladies. They have masterminds in April, July, September, and November. November's out. Not doing it.
Oh, I can't imagine you doing anything in November. Yeah,
November. I mean, we started our podcast in November, and that was a sacrifice. But I knew if we did not start November of 2021, we would push it out till February of 22, and we would have found an excuse or a reason to not do it. And so I had to just suck it up and go, just got to get it started. Just do it. Yep. So I did. So, but November is out. So I'm not going to do November. September, there's still a possibility. July, I'll figure it out. I will make July work. April, I'm like, well, I got my Rotary Heart of Gold dinner that I'm like, that's the main focus. So Can't mess that up.
Yep.
I also have my BNI at the end of April, beginning of May. I don't think that one's going to be in play. So it's kind of in the middle. So depending, I am going to be able to doggy sit Murray again, the little fluffy dog that's just adorable. So if it doesn't conflict with me doggy sitting Murray, then I will be going. If not, I will have to pass on that and I'll just work around it. It's the first one of the quarter of second quarter, but we still have to do what's right for us as business owners and as individuals. And for all of you business owners out there, it is okay to say no to things. I had to say no to 2 things last week because I had things going on at work and I had to give up a networking event and I had to give up a fun running event. I had to say no to it and go, you know what? It's okay. It made me sad. It truly made me sad.
But you don't give up watching Like the Way You Drink podcast.
That's right. This is priority. Hello.
Priority. You're gonna watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, live.
You learn a lot from us. I hope. Hopefully we make you laugh. Hopefully we make you smile. Hopefully you try some of the things that we're sharing. I have more people now giving me. I got a book of 1,001 scotches to drink before you die. I already found a good dozen, if not more, that I'm not, that I've already tried. So I got to doggy ear them. Some that I want to try. Some that I'm like, oh, that's a pricey one. I'm going to hold off on that one. And I have another one that's Raising the Bar that has all the classic drinks in there. So that one's kind of a fun one. I have clean drinks. So,
and don't forget, soon there'll be a book out there that's 100 drinks that we think you should drink.
With some foods that you should have it with.
Foods you should have with it. But yeah. We're working on that book. We're writing it right now.
Yeah, and actually, I already talked to somebody about that, and he's like, so he was wanting to help me with my book, and I said, no, I already have somebody on it. So, in case y'all didn't know, this is my previous book, Health Insurance Secrets Revealed. It's being revamped and updated. It did hit number 1 on Amazon, so I'm sure please buy it to help me when I relaunch it. My next one is 101 Creative Ways to Attract and Retain Quality Staff. This is for all budgets. So this is my ghetto book. It's already written. It just needs to be published. So Beyond Publishing is working on this one. Beyond Publishing is also revamping this one for me. So we're getting all this done, and we're going to get our book out, and hopefully, all of you will support us in making it number 1 in the food and drink. We are a little bit of foodies, so we enjoy what we do. And this is beyond our business. It truly is. And it's because we love it. We enjoy it. And we love being able to share this with you.
It is so much fun. So did you finish either one of your drinks tonight?
Yeah, Jim Beam. I do have some
a little bit because I added to it. I emptied the bottle.
I have not emptied mine, but I did do a little bit more of a splash afterwards. I have coffee. I have whole beans that forgot to grab them because they're up. They're going to be sent to Switzerland to one of Sean's best friends that he's known for 40 some odd years, and he loves Jim Beam. So. Yeah. I got that bag of coffee. That's Jim Beam coffee, and we're sending that to him. So at some point we'll get it mailed out. But yeah, I don't normally drink Jim Beam, but this time you win, Jim Beam. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Gallo Sweet Vermouth, but
I think we'll probably every time we do 2 drinks, I think we're going to question it. Did we finish the drink? And I would have finished it, but I added to it.
I added to it, and
it will be done by the time Gladys and I are done talking tonight. I'll tell you that right now. There's not that much left. Hold on. Go ahead.
I just did my last little sip there because it tasted really good. It went well with all the foods. A little bit of spice there, a little bit of sweetness, the savory of the chicken, absolutely. Even with my donut, I was like, this is interesting. So even though Jim Beam is not my go-to Kentucky straight bourbon, I will give it to them for this time. Since 1792, they've been around this long. It's not bad.
Actually, Jim Beam, if we're going to go with any of them, if I were going to drink from any of the major people, Jim is one of the ones where I can drink their regular stuff on a regular basis. All right. Jack, I would only do the gentleman Jack. The regular Jack, I'm not into. No. So
Right.
anyway, well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 3 things we got to go. We got to finish out with our show tonight before we close out. Number one, if you have not had the chance yet, all right, go to likethewayyoudrink.com. We have an Insiders Club. The Insiders Club is free to join, but that is a place where you get to do private tastings. You get to actually go on and come to events with us, things like that. You must be 21 to join. The whole reason behind this is we have to have IDs. We can't invite you to an event with liquor. We don't know that you're 21 years of age. We can't invite you even to an online thing to drink with us if you're not 21 years of age. That is something that we are going to stick to that rule, ladies and gentlemen. So that is why we have the Insiders Club. It is free to join. Just go to likethewayyoudrink.com and click the button that says join the Insiders Club. That being said, the next thing I'm going to move on to is hey, this show is brought to you every week, all right, by Gladys and I. We are the 2 main sponsors. Now, granted, we're getting other people coming in, but we're the 2 main people. Our companies sponsor this. That means our companies pay for all the extra alcohol, all the extra food, the technology to keep this thing going, all right, the drinks that we are mixing, our companies lay that money out. So, and all due fair, our companies can do commercials. Sound fair? Listen to the commercials real quick. Let's start with Gladys.
Thank you, Tim. I am Gladys Boutwell with Insurance by Design. I help employers become the employer of choice by providing the benefits that employees want and need. If you want to be that employer of choice, let's start the conversation. Go to insurancedesignpros.com. Click on the link that's on the upper left. It'll be 101 employee benefits for all budgets. It is the white paper for this book. This book goes into detail. The white paper is just a list of things. But let's start the conversation. I focus on Oregon, Washington, California. If you're not in those states, that is okay, because if we have the conversation, I have people across the U.S. that will take good care of you. So go to insurancedesignpros.com to check me out. Or if you're ready to start the conversation, get on my calendar, go to enrollnoworegon.com. And this is my co-host, Tim.
Hey, thank you, Gladys. Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Websites. Last year, 2023, I took on the challenge to create another company for my kids, and that is simpleeasywebsites.com. Why I did it? Because number one, everybody, if you're going to be in the world online, you've got to have a website of your own. You can't rely on social media. All right. You've got to have your own real estate. And I believe firmly in have the .com, have the email addresses that go with it. It's all part of the package deal. Number two, you got to build an email list. All right. We help people do that in our automation plan. Have an email list so that you can communicate with people outside once you get a hold of them. And lastly, we are 100% American based. That's right. My daughter and I run the company, which means we are here in the United States. We do not have a team in the Philippines. We do not have a team in Europe. We do not have a team in Africa or India. No, we run it all from US. All right. Which means, yes, we pay more, but we believe in the American way. All right. We are the most affordable solution for American built websites out there. SimpleEasyWebsites.com. If you need help with your website that it's not making money, it's time to get it fixed. Thank you. That being said, any thank yous? Any shout outs?
To my deli guy at Safeway for giving me a beautiful piece of chicken. I will say that. And Jim Beam for actually being pretty good today. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Jim Beam as well today. All right, guys, I really love your devil's cut. All right, you want to send some of this to my house for free as complimentary. All right, we'll mention you on the show a little bit more. Jim Beam, all right, to me, it is one of the best out there as far as your name brand bourbons. Yes, we love a ton of our other bourbons, but if you're going to go with a name brand bourbon, you can pick up in all 50 states. Jim Beam's the name out there, ladies and gentlemen, and I firmly stand behind that statement. Jim Beam, even though they are not a sponsor of our show yet.
We will have you on a lot more if you were a sponsor, Jim. So
Jim, you just want a sponsor.
Jim or Jack. I mean,
we're still going to give you a shout out, even though you're not a sponsor. How's that?
We do that once in a while. Thank you all very much for being here and listening to us. Please make sure you go to our YouTube and like us or subscribe there. Like us on Facebook and all your channels. Thank you so much for all your support. We appreciate you.
Yep. We'll see you guys next week, man. Cheers.
Cheers.